Hello, Sam here with JBugs.com. In our last video, we started up our 1800cc stroker engine for its break-in run. It went smoothly, and we ran the engine for 15 minutes to get the cam and the lifters worn in together. Now that the engine has cooled off a bit, we pull off the valve covers so we can make sure everything is as it should be. The first thing we see is that the end bolt on one of our rocker assemblies has come off. Fortunately, no harm was done, so it's reinstalled and tightened. We double check that the other three end bolts are tight. Then the valve covers are reinstalled. We aren't concerned with the valve covers leaking a bit, as we will pull them off again in another 15 minutes of runtime. The oil return adapter bolt is tightened a bit more, and we start the engine up again. We want to run the engine for another 15 minutes, for a total of 30 minutes, before we change the oil for the first time, and while the engine's running, we can dial in the carburetor. With our timing light, it's very easy to see the adjustments of the carburetor affect the RPM of the engine. The tuning can be done, and some people prefer tuning by ear, while listening for the RPM change. We first set the idle mixture screws to the best lean idle by turning the mixture screws in until the engine starts to stumble. Then we turn the screw out a quarter turn at a time. The RPM should increase, and the engine will run smoother. We continue turning the screw out until the RPM drops, or the engine begins to stumble again. Next, we turn the screw back in, to the point where the engine ran its best. This is usually the highest RPM point, or where the engine sounded the smoothest. Both of the idle mixture screws, the one at the face of the carb, and the one against the fan shroud, are adjusted the same way, and both are adjusted before the idle screw is adjusted. Once the mixture screws are set, we can set the idle screw at the carb linkage, and adjust it until the engine idles at about 850 to 900 RPM. With the carburetor tuned, we'll go back and double check the timing. The distributor clamp is loosened, and we hook up a timing light. And with our timing light advanced to 30 degrees, we point it at the crank pulley at the split in the case. The engine is revved up to about 3000 RPM, and we look for top dead center to show up while slowly turning the distributor. When it does, the timing is set, and the distributor clamp is tightened down. Now we can run the engine for another 10 minutes or so to complete our initial break-in run. During this run, we don't like to let the engine sit and idle continuously, so we run through periods of revving and idling. This will ensure that the piston rings don't wear the cylinders at any one position. While we are running the engine, we notice that if we accelerate the engine slowly, the RPM increases without hesitation. However, if we accelerate the throttle quickly, the engine will backfire a bit before the RPM increases. This indicates a lean and running engine, so we need to richen up the carburetor by installing larger main jets and possibly larger idle jets. After we run the engine for another 15 minutes, we turn the engine off and roll it back inside. Once the engine has cooled down a bit, we pull the sun plate off slightly to drain the oil, while looking for any large debris. The oil looks as it should, and we can see very small particles that should be expected from running a new engine. With the oil drained, the sump plate is removed completely, along with the gasket. We pull the oil pickup off, remove and clean the screen, which has some gunk and debris on it. The oil passages inside the engine most likely had some old gunk that didn't get flushed out completely. The screen did its job though, and once it's cleaned, it's reinstalled on the pickup tube and pushed into place. A new sump plate gasket is installed, and followed by a new sump plate, and the engine is refilled with oil. Then we pull off the valve covers and turn the engine over to number 1 top dead center, where we check and adjust the valves. Then the other 3 cylinders are checked and adjusted as needed. New valve cover gaskets are coated with copper RTV silicone and set into place on the valve covers, and the valve covers are reinstalled. All the oil that leaked earlier is cleaned up, and we'll take a break here until next time, where we'll pull the carburetor off, rejet, reinstall, and retune it. While you're waiting for that video though, check out some of our other videos or stop by JBugs.com for all the parts you'll need for your vintage Volkswagen.